Sleep paralysis is a phenomenon where your mind wakes up before your body does, leaving you unable to move or speak for an unsettling period of time. And while it's a normal thing that happens to almost all of us from time to time, some people experience sleep paralysis on a regular basis, which can have a negative impact on their quality of life. If this is something that you deal with regularly, then don't worry, because today we're going to explain exactly what sleep paralysis is, why it happens, and how you can get rid of it once and for all, so you can sleep soundly through the night. Just a quick reminder, we are not doctors. This video is for informational purposes only. If you have a medical condition that requires treatment, please contact a medical professional. Now let's get back to sleep paralysis. So first things first, what actually happens when you experience sleep paralysis? Well, as the name suggests, paralysis is the key symptom. You might find it hard to move your limbs, and in some cases, you might even find it difficult to move your eyes. Sometimes you may also find it difficult to breathe. And if you're not careful, this could lead to hyperventilating. In addition to these physical symptoms, you may also experience some auditory and visual hallucinations, although these aren't as common as the paralysis itself. With regard to how long an episode of sleep paralysis lasts, this can vary from person to person. Some people only experience sleep paralysis for a few seconds, while others might find that it lasts for several minutes. According to a 2018 study published in the journal PLOS ONE, sleep paralysis typically lasts between 10 and 30 seconds, but it can be as brief as 1 second or as long as 45 minutes. So now you know what sleep paralysis is. Next, we'll take a look at what causes it. So there are two main reasons why you might experience sleep paralysis. The first one has to do with your sleeping habits, and the second one has to do with certain neurological conditions. Let's start by taking a closer look at sleeping habits. More specifically, we'll talk about sleep schedules. Your brain needs a certain amount of adenosine to regulate your sleep-wake cycle.
The longer you're awake,
the more adenosine builds up. Once you reach a certain threshold, you'll feel tired, and it'll be easier for you to go to sleep. However, if you disrupt your sleep schedule too often, you might find that your brain doesn't produce enough adenosine when it should, which means you'll struggle to get to sleep. But if you do manage to fall asleep under these circumstances, you're much more likely to experience sleep paralysis because your body hasn't had enough time to wind down. Another bad habit that can lead to sleep paralysis is napping. As we already mentioned, your brain needs enough adenosine to trigger sleepiness. If you nap, however, you reduce the amount of adenosine in your system, which means you won't be as tired later on and could end up disrupting your sleep cycle. Now, let's discuss the other cause of sleep paralysis, which is neurological conditions. Sleep paralysis has been linked to several neurological conditions, including narcolepsy, which is a disorder that affects the part of your brain that controls sleep-wake cycles. People who suffer from narcolepsy often fall asleep during the day without warning, which can make them very drowsy. Another condition linked to sleep paralysis is obstructive sleep apnea, which is a condition that causes your breathing to repeatedly stop and start while you're asleep. Both of these conditions can cause abnormal brain activity while you're sleeping, which increases your risk of experiencing sleep paralysis. With that said, though, only around 8% of people who experience sleep paralysis have one of these conditions. In most cases, sleep paralysis is harmless and goes away on its own within a few seconds or minutes. However, if it persists, it could indicate an underlying health issue that needs treating. Now, we'd like to address a common myth about sleep paralysis. A lot of people believe that sleep paralysis is caused by demonic possession or evil spirits. There's no evidence to support this claim, however. And it's more likely that sleep paralysis is simply a side effect of certain medical conditions. That being said, there are some cultures around the world where sleep paralysis is seen as a supernatural phenomenon, and this belief often leads to harmful behaviors, such as exorcisms. Now that you know what causes sleep paralysis, let's take a look at how you can prevent it from happening to you. One of the best ways to avoid sleep paralysis is to maintain a regular sleep schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends, to help your body's internal clock stay on track. You should also try to get plenty of exercise, but avoid exercising too close to bedtime. Exercise can promote better sleep, but working out late in the day can make it harder to wind down. Also, try to avoid napping during the day, as this can throw off your sleep schedule and make it harder to sleep at night. You should also be mindful of how you're sleeping. Sleeping on your back or side is more likely to cause sleep paralysis than sleeping on your stomach. If you tend to sleep on your back, try switching to a different position to see if it makes a difference. It's also important to ensure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and well ventilated. Use blackout curtains if necessary, and try to keep your room colder than you think you should. According to a 2018 study, the optimal temperature for sleeping is between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. If you've tried all of these things and you still experience sleep paralysis, you may have an underlying medical condition that requires treatment. Make an appointment with your doctor and explain your symptoms. They'll ask you some questions about your lifestyle and conduct a physical examination to rule out any other potential causes. If necessary, they may refer you to a specialist for further testing. Now, we're going to take a look at a few ways that you can stop an episode of sleep paralysis once it starts moving. Your limbs can be difficult, but try to relax your muscles and focus on your breathing. If you find that you can't move your eyes, try to look in a specific direction for a few seconds to help you regain control. If you're experiencing sleep paralysis due to an underlying medical condition, your doctor may prescribe medication to help you manage your symptoms. For example, they may prescribe antidepressants or stimulants to help you stay awake during the day. Now, we'd like to mention something called dream yoga, which is a technique used in Tibetan Buddhism that can help you become more aware of your dreams. By increasing your dream awareness, you may be able to prevent sleep paralysis from occurring. One study published in the journal BMC Psychiatry found that dream yoga was effective in reducing the frequency of sleep paralysis episodes. So it may be worth trying if you're struggling with sleep paralysis on a regular basis. Finally, let's take a look at some of the signs of sleep paralysis. Keep in mind that not everyone will experience all of these symptoms, and some people may only experience one or two of them. The main sign of sleep paralysis is, of course, the inability to move your limbs. You may also find it difficult to move your eyes, and some people experience muscle twitching. In addition to these physical symptoms, you may also experience hallucinations. These hallucinations can be auditory, visual, or even tactile. You might hear strange noises, see strange figures, or feel a presence in the room with you. In some cases, you may also feel a sense of dread or fear. If you ever experience sleep paralysis, try not to panic. While it can be a frightening experience, it's usually harmless and will pass quickly. That being said, if you experience sleep paralysis on a regular basis, it's important to seek professional help. As we mentioned earlier, sleep paralysis can be a sign of an underlying medical condition, so it's important to get checked out just to be sure. Now we'd like to address a common question that people have about sleep paralysis. Can you lucid dream your way out of sleep paralysis? Well, technically speaking, the answer is yes, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Lucid dreaming involves becoming aware that you're dreaming while you're asleep. This can help you gain control over your dreams and make them more positive experiences. However, lucid dreaming doesn't always work in cases of sleep paralysis. In fact, most people who experience sleep paralysis don't remember having any dreams at all. If you do find yourself in a lucid dream state during an episode of sleep paralysis, though you should be able to use your awareness to help you wake up. Just focus on the sensation of waking up and try to move your limbs. It should help you break free of the paralysis and wake up. It's also worth noting that some people report having what's known as dream recall during an episode of sleep paralysis. This is when you remember a dream you had earlier in the night, which can sometimes help you wake up. And that's it. Now you know all about sleep paralysis. Do you have any thoughts or experiences that you'd like to share? Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and share it with anyone you think it might help. Thanks for watching.